Once again, Ivar is stooping to completely new lows. This is Season 5, Episode 18, Viking fans, Baldur.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Let the buzz begin. Look at this guy. That sounds like something else, Al.
Okay.
Stop being nasty. Hello, Viking fans. Welcome to tonight's episode, Season 5, Episode 18. Baldur, which is obviously we know now Ivar's kid's name, or Ivar's kid's meaning is not his. But anyway, we'll get to that. It's a lot of stuff to talk about. My name is Jaco Vienings. I'm joined with my co-host.
Hey everybody, Al Gragg. Happy to be here. Let's do this.
Let's do this. That's right. And I want to say hi to all y'all in the live chat. I see you guys all here. I've got Jasper. I've got Ariadne. I've got Super Banana. So make sure you guys let us know your comments throughout this episode. We will call them out. Also, hello, Steve.
Hey guys.
Hi,
Thank you for joining us tonight. How y'all doing?
What up?
Oh, we're doing fabulous, Steve. Thank you. And I know that guys in the chat is doing good. Steve was watching the episode with us tonight, like he always does, and he said he has got a lot of emotional feeling about this. So, Steve, I want to hear some things from you, my friend.
All right, you got it.
Awesome. So I think let's jump right into this. We always do this by storyline. You guys, you know this now. So I'm going to kick off really quick, and we're going to knock out Iceland out of the park, and then York. That sounds like a plan. Mm-hmm. Let's do it. I was like, yep.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm just need to find because I've got so many storylines. People are really working us. Okay, so Iceland. Okay, Kjetil and Floki at the grave. So Floki is burying the massacre. Mm-hmm. People are dead. And so there's now this whole conversation going on between Kjetil and Floki. I love how I'm just Kjetil. We put so much effort into the names. How Kjetil and Floki is having this conversation where it's like, listen, do it. You're only human after all. You've been faking it this whole time. Kill me. And Floki's, you know what? I've changed. Right?
I love that about him. He's like he's finally came to awareness that he can't change anybody else. You can't. All you can do is try, but the only person you really can control is yourself.
Exactly. And isn't that like old age advice? Isn't that amazing? You can do nothing but somebody else. You only yourself. So kids, write that down. Okay, write that down.
Because guess what? No matter where across the globe you move, you still go with yourself. There you go.
Yeah, even Iceland.
You bring yourself, even Iceland.
But I must Floki at this point was telling Kjetil what he would do to him.
Oh,
the old
hardcore.
Yeah. Thank you. Hello, Floki. I mean, I would drive, let's see if we get this right. I would drive the axe into your head just enough so that you're unconscious. Then when you wake up, I'm going to burn your wife in front of you.
And then I'm going to rape your son.
Well, before your son is going to cut off your bowels and make you eat it. And while you're slowly bleeding out, rape your son.
All in front of you. Yeah, it's hardcore.
I was like,
Floki's got a vivid imagination.
Holy shit. I had to stop there for a second. When I heard that was a rough.
But he's not that man anymore. He's not that man. He's a godly man.
Yes, he's a godly man now. Well, he's looking for the gods because he's like, he's changed himself. So now he's going on this path, but he's walking through the grass. He's literally like trotting across Iceland, I guess, looking into pools and whatnot. And he's basically saying, I almost lost faith. So why do you think almost? Why did he almost lose faith?
I mean, I wouldn't blame Floki if he did lose faith because of all the tragedies and everything that has befallen this trip, which he thought the gods put on his mind, and and all this death. Obviously, wasn't the way he envisioned it. So, yeah, I wouldn't put him beyond him to lose faith, or anyone really. But I like the fact that it's just made him kind of double down and go searching even more.
Even searching more, and that's what he's doing for the gods. In the live chat, we've got Tiffany saying Floki needs some trees to build a boat and get out of there. Agreed. Like, he even said it. He's like, the settlement is damned. And at that point, I was thinking, like, okay, this guy is going to leave. Like, and he needs to. Like, find some trees, shrubs, make a boat, and get out of there. Ariadne is saying, I was like, damn, Floki, when he described that, right? Because it was so vivid and dark and deep. So right at the end there, he's walking across. He's looking for faith. He's looking for the gods. He's like, why aren't you speaking to me anymore? And then he comes across this cave, which is saying is the gates of hell, the mouth of hell, with the bees swimming. So if you guys want to give us some extra insight, either now in the live chat or in the the permanent comments, please do, because I'm kind of lost. I don't know.
I do think something sacred is happening. He is communicating with the gods, because he said, I'm literally done with humans. So it took maybe like a sign or noise from an animal, you know what I mean, to intervene and for make him, I think, probably have reopen this conversation with the gods. So I do think something holy and spiritual is going to happen. It's just, we have to wait till next week and see.
To see what it is.
Yeah.
And literally, I don't know if any of you know the journey to the center of the earth. If you guys ever heard that story, it's very old. But literally, there's a cave in Iceland where if you go into this cave in Iceland, you go to the center of the earth. And it's a whole new world. And that is that cave. I'm telling you right now. But anyway, if you know the story, you would appreciate what I just said. Obviously, you don't, Al. You don't know the story. That's it. Any other thoughts on Iceland?
No, man. I mean, that's just, I don't know. It's like, where do we go from here? It's just been a total tragedy. So it's going to be interesting to see whether, they try to make the best of what this little wounded society they have left, or try to sail back to Kattegat. We'll see.
We will see. I say they are sailing back, not they. Floki, he is like, I'm out. I have to say, before we move on to the next storyline, I have to give a call out to one of our live viewers and subscribers, Nyla. Or I want to say that right. You've been asking to be called out because you subscribed. Thank you so much.
Nice.
And this time, I promise we will do a fact or fiction. I've got one just for you. Yes, because you've called us out. You said two weeks in a row we've missed it. We won't miss it again. I did some research. I've got a cool one. But later in the episode, okay? Okay, next storyline. York. Really quickly. A lot of good, juicy stuff happening there, guys. No? You saying?
Yeah. York's always some good stuff.
All good stuff. Because we've got King Harold.
Right.
And King Harold's all juicy. He's got so much attitude with his tattooed face.
I feel for him because he sees so much going. He's like the king, the lonely guy king, the king who never gets the girl.
Exactly. I feel sorry for him too. Rex on the nose, Al. I feel sorry for him too because he's just... he's like a puppy dog. I feel like a puppy. He's like a puppy. He's like just like so badly wants to be loved, and I feel like envisions this dream of just happily ever after. He just wants to be married and loved, and he just cannot land it. Hey.
You know what? I'm kind of hoping for Harold. There's a big heart, so I'm hoping he gets some. I hope he gets some kind of something just due in a positive way in the end.
Yeah, kudos on that, Al. Big heart.
Yeah, big heart. Yeah, I do. Thank you, Steve. All right, so Bjorn and Gunhild getting married. So now we know from last week, y'all called it out. I don't know why I said y'all. I'm not from Texas, or I'm from the West. I'm from South Africa. So you guys called it out, and we said last week which side is going to pick, and obviously she picked Bjorn.
Right.
So that's kind of cool, and a super, super cool place here where Harold's like, I thought you wanted to be queen.
I was like, wow, is this the time to bring it up too?
I want to congratulate you, and I thought you wanted to be queen, but she's like, yeah, well, I didn't say with which king.
See, man, that whole turn of phrase, you cannot trust anything that comes out that woman's mouth, man.
Why did he have why did he have a wild sex vision of her while they were getting married?
I don't know. He probably got turned on. It was a little freaky, He saw Bjorn kissing her, and then stimulated his fantasy. I thought that was a cool shot, though. A cool fantasy.
It was a cool fantasy with the people like shield walling around him and doing chanting, like whatever.
Maybe it's a vision for the future. Maybe it's a premonition.
God, everybody to their own. You never know what's going to happen in this show, and that's a good one, Al. What do we have here? King Harold acts like there's no more fishes in the sea, is what Jasper is saying.
Yeah,
kind of right.
He could probably, he can have any woman he wants. He's a king, but he's already got his mindset on her.
Yes, he does have his mindset on her, and so this brings us to the next, like, really cool conversation here between Harold and Bjorn. And I kind of didn't write anything down because we kind of write everything down, but I didn't write everything down. I just kind of took it in. It was sweet. There's a lot going on there, and so the crux of it is like, look, I love this woman, but you want her. Congratulations, and I'm happy for you today. And there's bigger things on the stake than this woman. And Bjorn is like, but it's not just a woman.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was kind of like a way to needle him, too, It was kind of like the get real moment. All this stuff that we know is going on between us, but we haven't said. I was surprised they chose the wedding to, like, finally get real.
Well, King Harold chose the wedding to get real. Like, he obviously got real with Gunhild as well on the dance floor, you know? They were popping, like, champagne and stuff, and she's just, like, moping around the place.
I think that was actually good for their relationship, though, to clear the air and to let it be known that, yes, even though I'm envious of you have this wife and you have this, we can still work together. So it doesn't mean I think they're gonna come to an impasse further down the line, but I do see them working together while carrying on this partnership and relationship.
And that impasse will be met at the mercy of the gods.
Exactly, right? The mercy of the gods. So listen, let's call out a few things that just happened. So he said, you will never be king of Norway.
Yeah,
he
said that.
You will never be king of Norway. Because, like Steve, mercy of the gods, it's not about who's got the title and the blah. And Bjorn is such a good actor. It's not about that. It's about the favor of the gods, the mercy of the gods.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing too, because I don't know. Even when Ragnar, his father was always like this searcher and felt kind of connected to the gods and guided by the gods. And I think Bjorn feels that kind of like that extra kind of being a feeling of being anointed, of being special, as opposed to somebody like King Harold, who has to try but really doesn't feel like the gods favor him. He's just just a guy out here just trying to like win his way. Yeah,
over exactly.
Versus Bjorn, he's part of an anointed family.
Exactly. Ariadne and Jasper, you guys are cracking me up. Ariadne is saying, dude was salty as F, which is true. And then Jasper said, plus she's twice his size. That's right. This guy, she's tall, he's short. Like Bjorn is like towering. I think King Harold is adorable. That's what I'm thinking.
Big old fuzzy teddy bear.
Big old fuzzy teddy bear with facial tattoos. Yeah. So now it brings us to the last bit in this whole scene where it's like, well, we all know what you always wanted, King Harold. You wanted to be like Ragnar. You want to be, and you never understood why people followed Ragnar and not you, right?
Yeah, that's a tough thing to deal with, man.
So are we establishing that King Harold lived in Ragnar's shadow? Even though
and I think we've always kind of like, when we go back and we look at all the previous seasons, that's obviously kind of there, and he keeps kind of getting passed over by out of Ragnar's sons. But I think it's good, for him to hear that, and for Bjorn to say that out loud to the audience, because I think that's going to be a turning point for Harold. He's like, you know what, okay, so what's next for me? And I'm going to be doing something that's constantly going to have me live in these guys' shadow, or I'm going to make a big bold move that's going to stand out. I think he needed to hear that. Like that truth that like you don't want to hear, but you need to hear it. But you need to hear it.
Well, I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you, because I do think he needed to hear it, but I don't think it's a good thing for Bjorn. I do think you're right. I don't think he's going to make a huge, bold move, but it's going to be in the favor of himself, not in... Because he has always been second fiddle to the whole Ragnar family. Like, even in every single son, even now. Yeah. So, yes, he needed to hear it, but I think... Well, we all know, just correct me if I'm wrong here, but he initially becomes the king of Norway in true history. Like, he becomes the king of Norway. So we'll see if the story follows that line. And if it does, then we know, he did do a bold move to become it. I think that's it. For those two storylines. So let's move on. The next one we are going to do is... There you go. Let's see. We're going to end with Kattegat. You guys can call it out. So we're going to end with Kattegat. Let's do King Olaf, Hvtserk. So Hvtserk is going to go to... Where is this? Can somebody please in the live chat let me know right now where the hell this is? Germany? Like, are we in the Alps? Like, where are we?
It looked very Game of Thrones, too, especially when we have, like, the little guy Tyrion coming out to greet him and everything.
So
Marching
are
in the
we
snow.
assuming he went north?
Well, Russia. Isn't... Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Not to step on any toes. Just Olaf, isn't that a Russian name?
That sounds Russian. It sounds Russision. And we haven't seen that. We haven't seen the Vikings in the snow yet, have we? Maybe I just don't recall.
No, it snows in Kattegat.
Okay,
yeah.
That's right.
I mean, Norway is the whole place is Kattegat. By the way, hi Emily Edwards. Welcome to the live chat. I'm happy to have you here and chat with us. Make sure you let us know anything and all your thoughts in the comments so we can join this conversation. Okay, so we are in Germany / Russia / somewhere up where it snows a lot. And it's a hilarious scene in the beginning. Steve, did you like that beginning scene? Because you laughed a lot.
Oh, yes. The owl. There's something about the owl. I got to think about owls.
Okay, so he arrives in this place and he's met by, what's the guy from the Game of Thrones? The short
Tyrion, I know that the actor, I forget his name.
Little Good John or something like that. People's going to call, all the golf fans are going to kill me, Game of Thrones. But anyway, so he's being met by the small dude, and I hope I said that right. And he said you have to take your clothes off, and then it cuts to a different scene. And Hvtserk's like, what are you talking about? I just traveled through frozen lakes, over frozen mountains, and I'm freezing my ass off. Take off. He doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's the way they kind of mess with you, man. They kind of haze you because it's like he could have waited to take his clothes off right before he went into like the heated sauna, but no, he had to parade him in front of everybody outside in the snow. That's how they mess with people.
That's how they mess with people. And that's how they put you in line. Thank you, Jasper. It's Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage, thank you.
Peter Dinklage is the guy.
Dinklage.
So there you go. Thank you very much, guys. So he is butt-ass naked, trudging through the snow, okay, to a sauna. Like this King Olaf is living it up, right?
I love it. He does look like a Buddha. He does look like the Buddha. He's got the big belly. He's got the smile.
He's got the earrings.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. And really, he didn't deny it when Hvtserk said, "You are the Buddha." He just laughed.
He just laughed, but why? Why is he laughing?
I don't know, but I heard that's the thing about the Buddha. You know, there's an image of the Buddha with his hands in the air laughing. It's just like irony. You know, it's not even necessarily a right or wrong answer.
So Michael Hirst went there.
Yeah, there you go. I
think Michael Hirst went there. So they're saying Russia is a little bit further north, I do believe. Okay, well, I don't know where it is. Maybe it's Germany. Okay, so these guys are talking. So King Olaf wants to know what kind of king Ivar is. What do you think Hvtserk should have? Do you think he did the right thing here?
I think he did the right thing. And let me tell you, in the long game, I think the reason King Olaf tortured him is because he wanted to see that if Hvtserk really did want to betray Ivar, and not this is just Ivar's ploy to see like, oh, okay, I'm gonna yeah, sure, I'll disobey Ivar, and then he's like, no, I'm loyal to Ivar. Shit, you've been disloyal. So I think that was part of his plan. But I was surprised that Hvtserk came with that so early. He kind of
like, out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. So but that was his strategy, and it worked, and it paid off. He's basically, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. I'm not for Ivar. I'm against him. I want us to team up, and he led with that. And the fact that he stuck to it and he didn't change his tune, I think that's what made King Olaf, come around. Basically, he wanted to see is this guy real?
Maybe which brother is stronger,
Maybe.
or like does this guy have some sense of what's going on? And it's the really great. Great is the wrong word for sure, but it's interesting how they shot the scene, talking about what kind of ruler is your brother. Is he a monster? Cuts to, and I'm jumping across storylines here, but cuts to Kattegat with the whole scene of Thora and a whole family, being burned alive. So, so talking about like if he's a monster, and he said like, no, he declared himself a god. He's insane. Instead of going to Europe, let's go attack him together. And obviously he says no, and that's the whole crux of the story. He's getting like basically, why would being steamed to death in an ice cold place be such a bad torture? I don't know, but he looks like it's difficult.
It looks very ironic too, as I said.
I wish James was here. And by the way, James says hi to everybody.
What up, James?
He's at a very important conference tonight, and he will be back next week.
All right.
To join us. Yeah. So so the Peter Dinklage comes back, and he just wants to know, like, did you change your mind? Not a lot happening there, and he says, it's funny how Hvtserk said, like, it's ironic how I'm so hot, but I'm dying in cold weather, kind of thing. So, but that's kind of the whole scene. There's nothing else much happening there, other than anything you want to call out.
No, I was just thinking. I was just still thinking back. Did we talk about what happened to Thora and her family?
Well, we're going to go through the whole Kattegat timeline right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So just in Olaf, the people are there in ice. Like, basically, these guys are joining forces now. It's like, at the end, yes, I've changed my mind. We are going to attack your brother together. What do you think about that? And Hvtserk is just half dead on the floor. And that's how it ends. And we'll see what happens next. And let's talk about this for a second. So this episode, we said, like Steve, even you said, there was a lot of emotion in this episode, like a personality, like kind of once again, one of those stitching episodes, putting everything together.
Agreed. Yeah, I was trying to read King Olaf, even at a distance, however much of a distance that is. And I thought it was entertaining, especially just the talk on Hvtserk's behalf of trying to anticipate the desire of what King Olaf wanted to do as a king in terms of, do I go and attack? Are we going to unify this way or that? And I thought that was I thought that was a well-spoken for comment.
Yeah. Okay.
Just before King Olaf came in, was like, "Hey, wake up! I'm gonna join you. We're good, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's great.
And you want to know the funny thing is, I don't think Hvtserk had a plan B. Like, I just thought he was just going to go there and ask.
Oh, he was dealing with, he was Viking style. He was just like, this is why I'm going. My brother's insane, sending me or forcing me to come. Otherwise, he's going to kill my wife, which, we all know happened. And like, what would you do? What would you guys do in the live chat, in the comments? Would you go and just follow along with your brother's plan? No.
He did the right. I think we all think he did the right thing, right?
He did the right thing. But I must say, when the guy said no immediately, I thought that Ivar anticipated this entire situation, and he told him this might happen, and if it does happen, you can kill him. But obviously that didn't happen. So that's it for Germany / Russia / the Italian Alps.
Okay.
Let's go to. We're going to end with Kattegat, so we're going to do Wessex. So there's basically 2 storylines in Wessex. We have to slow this down because we've got some time to chill and talk to you guys. So, Wessex. I want to know, in a live chat, please, you guys can let me know. Did you guys have a digital glitch, or was that maybe just us, Steve?
That's a good question.
Okay, if you guys had a digital glitch in the Wessex storyline, just right after the witch was talking to Judah, please let me know, because we did. It was kind of jumping around.
Yeah, we had this weird thing in our DVR playback. So maybe, I don't know, it didn't happen to everybody else, but it jumps from the scene with
Judith and the witch.
Judith, yeah.
Yep.
Then into Lagerthaand and all that. But yeah, so we'll find out. Maybe we'll hear somebody else's version.
So yeah, exactly. And so Judith and the witch is there for 1 second, and then we're gonna quickly follow through with this Judith storyline. And so the next second we are with Lagerthaand kind of in the forest, and then having visions of Ragnar. Whoop whoop. Sorry, I had to do that. And him in the snake pit, and then once again him dead.
Yeah.
And him, I couldn't get what he was saying, but he said something about like, once I found you, I'll love you forever, or something like that.
Yeah, they had a nice little moment.
A nice little moment, and then she wakes up in the royal villa, found by Judith. So Steve, you said what? What happened here?
Oh, just to assume what was going on there was while Judith was going through some form of healing factor with that other woman who was there.
Yeah.
And some sort of like backwoods country home of some kind in the woods. I'm assuming they must have found Lagerthaand unconscious outside somewhere somehow and brought her back in. And as we had that jolt in the feed there, everything that was going on with Lagerthaand and Ragnar in the pit of snakes where Ragnar died. Yeah, I'm just kind of throwing out a guess that they found her wandering around Ragnar's grave.
Ariadne is saying Judith is at the witch's house to get some sort of treatment, and here's a woman to be found out it was Lagerthaand. Okay, so that we didn't see at all. Okay, so I have no idea what happened there. So Adriana is saying like we're having some sort of vision, I think. All right, so apparently, Judith heard her, and so they found Lagerthaand. So leading to her being found, and she is now, there and saved.
And regain consciousness in one form or another.
One form or another, and are very, very happy. Which brings us to the dinner table with Alfred, and which we didn't play a big part in this episode, and Judith and Lagerthaand. And so now this whole thing is being played off of, am I still a shield maiden? What is going on there? Like, I lost my shield. I'm not a shield maiden anymore. What do I have left to protect myself? And then Judith is saying, did you say your honor?
I forget exactly what she said, but I like how she was able to kind of draw the parallel that both of them are warriors of sorts.
Without her shield, Lagerthaand was no longer the shield maiden.
Yes.
So she did not have her shield to protect herself anymore, and she was trying, you could say, for lack of a better term, an identity crisis, perhaps.
Okay, so she lost herself maybe a little bit in the woods, and I think especially identity crisis is right, Steve. You think about having visions with Ragnar, and very intimate visions, loving visions, like she's maybe going back to that old, like, remember in season 1 where they were just them on the farm and they just had the best life? Like, that's kind of when you go back to when you get older, which is what Lagerthaand is getting. She's getting older. That's what I'm thinking.
However, her new view as to where she is at today seems well grounded. as she seems to hold it with a lot of confidence.
And they were giving her respect. They basically called her Queen of the Vikings, right? Something to that effect.
Yep, exactly. So Queen of the Vikings, Lagerthaand, Judith is together in a room, and there was the kind of a funny moment here where this is where Judith, and you guys said it in the chat, and last week we were all asking like, was Judith touching herself or something like that? You guys had in the comment. I completely missed that. I read that afterwards in the comments, which is hilarious because I missed it. But so apparently she was touching herself. She was feeling for a lump, which she has now, and she said she knows other women has died of this. And I wish James Simmons was here; she can enlighten us. But obviously we know it's probably breast cancer.
Quick question too: when she admitted that I killed one son to save the other son, first of all, I was surprised she admitted that in front of Lagerthaand and in public in this room. And who was the other young lady who was with them?
That's Alfred's wife.
Alfred's wife. Okay, yeah. So I mean, I'm wondering if she's almost saying that, okay, this is my punishment because I killed one son. I have this disease and now I'm gonna die. I don't know. Maybe like she almost kind of deserved it.
That didn't go there at all. But I really like that. Like she's now being punished for that. And I think she said that in front of Lagerthaand just because she's like, I'm surprised she said it in front of Alfred's wife.
Yeah.
Like Lagerthaand's like, whatever. Like it might as well been Lagerthaand that did it. So she would not care. But I'm surprised she said it in front of Alfred's wife. And so Lagerthaand is basically telling her we've got a lot to discover still. So while she's taking the expensive blue paint, and painting her face. So what are they going to discover? What are they in search of?
I don't know, man.
Are they going to conquer the world? Are they going to travel together? Are they going to, maybe Lagerthaand think it isn't cancer. Maybe she thinks it's just like,
strong women unite, go out with one last hoorah. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. I like that.
I wonder what the gods have in store.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see in the next episode. Once again, this is the episode stitching everything together, building, and we said it in the beginning, building the why behind what is going to happen in the next episode, right? So not a ton of stuff happening, but a lot of small things touched here and there, building it up to the shit that is going to be going down in the next 2 episodes. Okay, so that kind of is it for like that side of Wessex. Now the other side of Wessex is Ube. Mm-hmm. He's taking the entire king's army to the 3 kings, to the whole Viking team that's there, and it's hilarious because the one king's name is Frodo,
and they all love him. Ube.
Yeah, why are they loving him?
It's respect, right? He is the son of Ragnar Lothbrok, so that does give him fame, right?
Yeah, so that definitely gives him fame, and out of that, the whole Viking army is cheering for him. So fair enough, they're going. But so he's saying like, okay, well, here's the thing: we are here, and the first point that's being made here is, why do you have an alliance? Like, why would you team up with our enemy? And he's like, well, we're supporting Ragnar's dream, right? The original dream was for us to have land, for us to have, plow and pick up the fruit of the loom and plow, and not the sword. And so that's what he wants to do. And he's basically giving them this proposition, which is,
drop the sword, come live with us, we'll give you the land.
You have nothing to lose, everything to gain. Mm-hmm. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. So 2 of them is obviously yes, but no. So what's your thoughts on this, on King Frodo?
Yeah, I mean, you knew there was always, that almost sounds too logical, Uber's proposition, and it's like you could hit somebody with, and to me that is like promising the world, but if somebody wasn't ready to hear that, they're just ready there and go in there and kick some ass and, and rape and pillage. That's probably on their minds all of a sudden, like to put their weapons down and go be farmers. I mean, that's something you would honestly have to think about. So I'm glad it didn't happen like that. But I like the twist of how he and King Frodo are going to have to do the one-on-one battle. I like that.
Yeah, and so
I'm totally about it as well.
Yeah, and so did King Frodo. He was the Ube Lothbrok. That makes me very happy. And I think he looks pretty big, but he looked like such a boy on the close-up, like a small, thin face and a small.
Let me ask you guys: when they kept showing Uber, and maybe I'm the only one who's. We've always saw this, but it just resonates more and more. How much does he look like Ragnar? Uber, like with the eyes and everything. Maybe they were finally like zeroing in on his character and his similarity with Ragnar. Like, this is finally his time. Uber's is like stepping up. I don't know. And the audience, it seems like an obvious thing, but let me know if like you guys been feeling that more and more.
No, I do as well, Al, and I could also say, comparatively speaking, as far as Bjorn Ironside is considered, like everyone's rolling like pretty hard into their father's lineage, essentially. Like the legacy of the family is really coming full circle, and it's nice to see them kind of going into their own characters as well.
Yes, and which there's a lot of development if you think about it, all the seasons, like how Bjorn has progressed, how Ube has progressed. He was just like a little boy in the beginning, you know, like actually not as a kid. I'm talking about as Ube. Joe Bananas is saying he said that only one beard will survive, which is kind of hilarious. I think yes, only one beard will survive, and that's it. So King Frodo and Ube.
We'll see, man.
We'll see.
Mano a mano.
All right, what do you have for us?
Oh, I have an important announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for the channel, for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air and give you a shout out. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
TV talk. That's what we do here. We talk about TV.
Yep.
That's why we'd say that. Guys, see that? See the irony? There's no irony. It's very straightforward, actually. Okay, so we've got some Tiffany saying it wasn't a witch, it was a healer. Well, I'm just saying witch because I saw that on the subtitles
Yeah, I
on the
thought they
screen.
called her witch.
Yeah, well,
Same thing, I guess.
Joe Banana saying Ube is the cute one, and saying that Joe Banana's also saying maybe the witch gave her some vision potions to see where Lagerthaand was found, which is all great stuff. And okay, so guys, I need to bring up my fact or fiction before we go to. Why are you saying uh-oh?
Because you always catch me off guard.
No, these things are great. I just need to find it real good. So, Al, you're going to have to just quickly...
I'll do a drum roll while he's
do
doing
a drum
that.
roll, and
drum
then
roll.
everybody else going to tell you guys a joke. No, I'm
Ladies
kidding.
and gentlemen.
Okay, here we go. Fact or fiction? Okay, Nyla, this is for you. Vikings were large and heavily muscled. Now, I know what you guys see in the show, but what do you think? Vikings were large and heavily muscled. Fact or fiction?
No,
yeah.
I go first.
No. You're not allowed to say anything. We will say in the next episode. So I want to see what you guys think in the live comments, and especially on the permanent comments of the big episode. Remember, if you watch the episode afterwards, stay for 2 seconds, give us a good thumbs up so we can get out there and we can grow this Viking shield wall, get more people in here. If you're listening to us on iTunes or all the other platforms, give us a 5-star, a thumbs up, a hands clap, a woohoo, and just so we can grow this audience of Vikings. We've got one more season left, right? Season 6 is not finished just yet. Okay, so that's it. Fact or fiction? The Vikings were large and heavily muscled. This is a good one, I promise you. Next episode, I'll give you the answer. Okay, that is fact or fiction. So let me open my live chat. I'm not going to forget about you guys. Don't drum roll. You have to tell a joke while I do this.
How many? Why did the chicken cross the road?
Okay, don't do that one. Tiffany says it's fiction. Why, Tiffany? Why do you say it's fiction? Okay, let's go to Kattegat, the big storyline. Check this out.
Bingo!
And my paper just landed on the camera, which is,
nice.
I think, the first time that's ever happened. So, just saying.
Good aim.
Okay. Let's do this. Kattegat, the main storyline. We've got some minutes left to talk about this. Crazy Ivar. I started watching this episode and I threw it away now. But that's in the paper I just threw away, the comment. But one of you guys, Ariadne, as I started watching the actual episode, I saw the very first comment in this live chat, and I actually can go to it. And she said, wow, just wow, Ivar. He hits new lows every episode. And that's exactly what I thought, Ariadne. Exactly, just wow. Ivar is like crazy.
Yeah, as always.
Completely out of line.
Yeah.
But seriously, like you're saying, yeah, but at what point, like this guy is literally burning families alive.
Ridiculous. And we were talking about what are the
Alice like, yes.
and we were talking about last week about what are the chances that he was going to burn, and I was like, well, he may use her, kind of as a pawn, and
Yes.
somebody else, I don't know if it was you or in the chat, they were like, no, he's going to burn her no matter what. He's going to burn her.
See, it became okay. So let's bring this from the beginning. So he gets here. So the symbol of Ivar, what Ivar is split into two. Which I just thought of something which I'm going to say a little bit. I'm going to write that down. Split into two. So and obviously now he thinks that it was Thora.
And how would she do that, man?
No. Not how would she do it. How would anybody do that?
right.
Somebody took a chainsaw and had to, because obviously the thing was made out of wood.
And you couldn't do it with arrows.
Because they had chainsaws back then too, right?
Well, of
Where would you
course.
plug it in?
They were Vikings. I don't know. What are you talking about, Steve? Jeez, Steve. I'm going to cut you off, Steve. No, so they took the chainsaw, but no, seriously, like you would hear it. Like, it's not just like, okay, break it. What I thought in the beginning is like, okay, so let's say it was the gods Thor, like thunder hammer, like split the thing in two. Like, I'm angry that you think you're a god and you're onto God. Like, maybe it was actually lightning.
Could be. I'd actually like to see a more like metaphysical solution, something like that, or supernatural, as opposed to just maybe Ivar doing it like as a false flag. He's like, I'm going to break it myself and then blame it on somebody else and use that as leverage to rile everybody up and kill Thor's family.
Wait, is that what you think happened?
I mean, it's a possibility.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, the thing is, I feel like in lieu of nothing else, like in lieu of us seeing a lightning strike or seeing somebody else maybe, kind of plotting on the little image, in lieu of nothing else, I don't think we're left with anything else but to believe that, Ivar did it. But he just seems almost too vain to do it, but I don't put it beyond him.
Well, I don't put anything beyond him. I personally don't think that Ivar did it. There was also a pig's head stuck into the thing with a sword through it.
Oh, okay.
And in the beginning, not that changes anything. I mean, I'm just saying it was kind of like more than just a split. And he was genuinely in the beginning was like, surprised. I think if it was him behind the scenes, he would be like kind of smiling and like be, all mischievous, but he wasn't. He was like, honestly, and maybe it was Thora because right in the next scene, and by the way, as this next scene comes up and he's sitting in his like greeting hall and he's waiting for Thora to come and he's eating. He's always eating something. I don't know if you guys noticed that. He's always eating grapes or nuts or some shit. So does King Alfred in the same scene if you watched it. King Alfred always eating something. Just saying, guys. I know maybe some of you guys appreciate it.
Well, one of the things I think would, before we get out of there, that I think we have to take notice of whether Thora did it and Hvtserk's gone. We know he was the dissenter. I think what we are supposed to get out of that, there are more dissenters, in the community. There's still a contingent of people that don't like Ivar.
And Ivar doesn't like that.
Yeah.
Right, which is exactly why, to interrupt, guys, real quick.
No, please go.
I completely agree. It totally wouldn't move it past Ivar, not even for a second, if he were to plot such a thing, just to weed him out and take him down.
So
but I agree.
So you're saying also like it's Ivar's continuous way and plan of like rooting out and getting out these people, and because look, I don't think it's that, but if it is that, Steve and Al and everybody that thinks that, it's working.
Yeah.
Because the conversation in this mess hall, in the Great Hall, was with her to say like, listen, why would you do that? She didn't say she didn't do it. She didn't say that wasn't me. It might not have been her, but it might have been her father. But what she did say is like, my parents told me that in Ragnar's time, we were free. We were free to say what we want. And Ragnar didn't make us worship him like a god. That was the conversation.
Yeah. Good point.
So she didn't deny it. She didn't admit to it as well. And when he asked why, she kind of gave him a reason.
Yeah, she did. She was like, yeah, I don't like you anyway.
I don't like you anyway, and we don't like being, forced to worship somebody. Yeah. So, and this is when he kind of touched her face and when he put the mark. And what did you call it, Steve? The mark?
Oh, I just call it mark of death.
Mark of death?
He was so subtle about it, and she was crying, and he seemed to show mercy, talking about her father, and he was a good man, and all these things. And you can go, just go,
just go. Well,
go in peace.
1 second there, like Ivar always does this. He's so calm and gentle. It's mind games. He plays mind games. He definitely took that Ragnar's mind games. Ragnar also played mind games in a sense, but he quadrupled it. And that's what he does. He acts nice, and he's like, you're always guessing with him, and that's what he wants, I think. Yeah. You never know what he's going to do. You never know his next move, which in this scene, his next move is to literally burn the whole family alive. That was super inappropriate, Steve. I'm just saying.
It would be really inappropriate if we heard like some flames.
Now Steve is going through his computer looking for flame sounds.
Yeah, I'll see what I can dig up for some ASMR,
some crackling,
like
some crackling
meat on a
flesh.
grill. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And that was my favorite scene in the way they developed that tension, because obviously when she's leaving Ivar's tent, you know, and she's kind of like, you could tell she's like shooken, she's shaking, she's kind of looking.
She knows shit's
She knows
coming.
something's up.
She
She knows
knows.
something's up, and then she's kind of looking around, and it's one of those things where like people are looking at her, but they're kind of not at the same time. Is this person following me? Are they not? And those, oh man, those are the best scenes too, because they just heighten the tension.
Exactly.
And then once you saw like those guys starting to cut her off, you know, every time she would walk a certain way, okay, it's like, okay, you know, they're hurting her somewhere.
They're hurting her somewhere, and so they're not grabbing her, pulling her somewhere. No,
Yeah.
she want to see it herself. And so this, like Steve also mentioned earlier, like the scene was shot in a very weird, kind of beautiful way through the eyes of a kid, the young kid standing there, also marked for death. It's a crazy scene, which leads to Balder being born. So at this point, what's her face? And I forgot her name now.
Freydis?
Freydis.
Freydis.
There you go. Look at you. Awesome. Freydis. So Freydis is giving birth to a deformed baby, and right away, and there was a lot of discussion in the live chat about this, and I want you guys to now call it out for me, please, what it is that you think the reason is why this kid can't breastfeed. When the nurse or the nanny, whatever you want to call her, said this kid won't be able to suckle the nipple. Why did she say that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought our engineer Steve had a good suggestion. Steve, did you want to weigh in on what you thought?
Well, I mean, deformed, yes, we know this. How?
Because we said the midwife said the baby won't be able to feed.
Right,
the
exactly.
breast, right.
So what would that possibly suggest?
Well, did you say a cleft palate?
So
Or something wrong with his mouth?
some people in the comments earlier said cleft palate. Adriatni, I don't know if this is possible. I wish James was here, but Ariadne said that she's convinced the kid doesn't have any gums. So I don't know how that.
Obviously, has to do something with his mouth.
I don't know if that's
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a real thing or not. A cleft palate, and I also thought that's what I was thinking about earlier. That I wrote down. Cleft palate, the statue split in two. Maybe that's like a connection with the
Symbolism,
two.
there you go.
You know, maybe there's some symbolism there. But we'll never know. He either had a cleft palate or literally looked like a branch of. Oh yeah, okay. Joe Banana saying he didn't look ready. Jasper is saying he was born with no lips. Ariadne is saying either no gums or a cleft lip. Yeah, so I think that's what it's just some physical deformity. You can see it immediately. The kid was crying, so we know, because some people, you guys in the beginning said you thought it was born without a mouth. I don't know if that's possible. That's, you know, but
just like the irony of the universe, you know, that of course after all Ivar's done, he's going to get another child that's deformed. I mean, you know.
Well, that is what Freydis was calling out. She said, listen, see, the gods blessed us. Again, like, you know, did I tell you the gods blessed with deformity? But the chances of this kid being deformed, even we know it's a different guy, like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, which makes me think that Ivar is basically cursed to a certain extent.
Yeah.
All of his
Well, of course
shenanigans
he's
and plots.
You know, what goes around comes around, right? So now Ivar and Balder is alone. They're alone in the dark, and he's leaving. He's like, I can't help you anymore. You are not divine. And he says, you're going to remind me of me. So you're the baby. I'm telling you that you are not divine, and that you will be reminding me of me the whole time. So in two ways. Are you going to remind me of myself because you're crippled, deformed, or are you going to remind me of myself because I know that I am also not divine?
I think that's it. I think it's both of those. Yeah, I think it's both of those. Basically, just look. And the thing is, he could have gone the third way, the way Freydis said, like, okay, this is a blessing, but he didn't go that way. So I think which goes to show he almost doesn't, deep down, he doesn't believe it himself, that I think he's divine. I don't think so, not deep down.
No, he was brainwashed. He thinks no, and I think it's all coming to a big realization right now, which ends this entire episode with him slithering, crippled, like crawling away, not on his walking stilts. His baby is deformed. He's using his deformity as he is like kind of slithering, as still the snake scene from last episode away.
That's something I wanted to share on that as well. Just how Ivar reflected upon his upbringing with Ragnar and just not willing to put Ivar wasn't willing to put his own son through the same kind of suffering that he endured himself.
Right.
And he also said, if I can paraphrase this loosely, why would any father do that to their son? And I looked at that and I go, okay.
Bitter to it. Why Ragnar did that to him?
Does he have some sort of reservation about that?
Well, Ragnar did put him out to die.
But he changed his mind, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's very true because he had a huge speech about that. But I also think that that's secondary to you're not divine.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it for the episode, and our time is also up. So a really quick prediction from you.
I'm just waiting for all the
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Oh, did not expect that.
I'm just waiting for all the sons of Ragnar to gang up on Ivar. I want to see, Hvtserk over there with King Olaf, that team up, and I want them to team up with Harold and Bjorn, and I want them to go back, and I want them to get, Ivar the heck out of there.
I think Lagerthaand is going to join Bjorn and King Harold to go kill Ivar or chase him away. And then I think King Harold and Lagerthaand is going to get married. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Vikings. We love the show, and we know you guys love the show. So make sure to give us a thumbs up. Make sure to leave a few comments down below. Drop a comment. My name is Jaco Vienings. If you guys love wine, go to grapeunknown.com. Once again, I'm always saying grapeunknown.com, and you can learn about wine. And I'm joined by this cool guy.
Everybody, I'm Al Gragg. You'll see my social media, my IG, but I want to tell you my film is premiering in a few weeks.
Nice.
So I want you guys to go and get tickets for it at paff.org, paff.org. That's the film festival, and my film is Jamaica House, so I hope you guys can make it.
Awesome. We'll see you guys next episode. Bye-bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.